Today, I'm excited to introduce you to 6 delicious regional stir-fry ramen dishes. Let's start with a popular stir-fry ramen recipe from Tajimi City, Gifu Prefecture. It's called Tajimiso stir-fry ramen. Before we begin, let's cook the noodles according to the package instructions. Once boiled, rinse them thoroughly in cold water. There are 3 key features that make this dish truly special. First, the use of spicy miso paste. Second, the addition of a runny fried egg for a rich and creamy flavor. And third, the topping of shiso leaves, which can be substituted with other herbs like chives or parsley if you don't have any on hand. I recently discovered this dish and tried making it for myself, and let me tell you, it was even more delicious than I could have imagined. Feel free to incorporate your favorite vegetable into this recipe, but I highly recommend adding cabbage and onions. Now let's prepare the essential shiso topping. Finally, chop the shiso leaves. For the meat, I've chosen pork belly, but chicken would work just as well. Next, we'll prepare the flavorful miso sauce. Gifu Prefecture, along with neighboring Aichi Prefecture, is known for its love of soybean miso. As some of you may know from my previous videos, soybean miso is a unique fermented soybean paste made with soybean koji instead of rice koji and salt, while rice miso made with rice koji, soybean, and salt is more common in Tokyo. I encourage you to try soybean miso if you can. However, any type of miso will work in this recipe. Another crucial step is to make the miso sauce spicy. Today we'll use Dandan. You can also adjust the spiciness to your liking using chili peppers. Add sake, soy sauce, oyster sauce, chicken stock powder, and sugar. Mix thoroughly. Since soybean miso can be quite firm and difficult to dissolve, it's best to mix it well beforehand. Heat a drizzle of oil in a fry pan and stir-fry the pork belly. The fatty pork will render out delicious oil as it crisps up. To remove any porky smell, add a splash of sake. This pork belly is incredibly fresh and flavorful, so I'm going to use the rendered fat for this dish. However, feel free to wipe off any excess grease or use leaner meat if you prefer. Season the pork with salt and pepper. Once the pork is slightly caramelized and some fat has rendered, add the onions and stir-fry until they soften and absorb the flavorful pork fat. When the onions are translucent, add the cabbage. I've noticed that Westerners tend to use a generous amount of oil when preparing these noodle dishes, resulting in beautifully glistening cabbage. We've successfully replicated that technique here. Once the cabbage has wilted, add the drained noodles. Pour in the prepared miso sauce and toss through it to coat the noodles evenly. This dish is a true Gifu Prefecture specialty, and you can find it at various restaurants throughout the region. Each restaurant may have its own unique miso blend and toppings. I decided to use the shiso leaves after researching the dish, and I highly recommend it. The shiso leaves add a refreshing touch that perfectly balances the richness of the oily noodles. Another essential topping is a runny fried egg. The combination of creamy yolk and savory noodle is perfect. I can only think of chives or parsley as potential shiso substitutes, but if you have any other suggestions, please share them in the comments. Next up, let's travel to Kitami City in Hokkaido and discover the delights of signature seafood stir-fried ramen. This dish was developed to showcase the local bounty of Kitami City, featuring scallops and onions as the main ingredients, carefully seasoned with salt to accentuate their natural flavors. While onions are a must-have ingredient, feel free to incorporate other vegetables of your choice. If you don't have any other vegetable on hand, onions alone will suffice. I've also added carrots for extra color and flavor, and I'll be chopping some green onions for garnish later. And don't forget the bean sprout. Since garlic pairs perfectly with seafood, let's mince some garlic as well. Heat a drizzle of oil in a fry pan. Warm the garlic, and then add the shrimp and scallops. These scallops are of the sashimi grade quality, so they are incredibly fresh and delicious. My husband couldn't resist sneaking a few as sashimi before we even start cooking. Season lightly with salt and pepper, and add a splash of sake. White wine can be substituted for sake. Just be careful not to let the garlic burn. Scallops can be hard to find outside of Japan, so feel free to use your favorite seafood instead. Shrimp and other seafood make great alternatives, or you can even use just shrimp. Since the scallops can be eaten raw, remove them from the pan once the shrimp is cooked through. Add the onions and carrots to the pan, allowing them to absorb the flavorful juices from the cooked seafood. Speaking of Hokkaido, have you ever had a chance to visit this beautiful island? It's often mentioned as a popular tourist destination among foreign travelers. I've never been myself, but I'm definitely on a mission to indulge in Hokkaido's culinary treasures, especially its fresh seafood. Once the onions have softened, add the bean sprout. They cook quickly, so just stir fry for a minute or two. Return the cooked shrimp and scallops to the pan, and add the drained noodles. Season with salt and pepper, and chicken stock powder, and sesame oil. Adjust the salt and pepper to taste gradually. To add a bit of extra punch, I've sprinkled some ramen pepper, which is a blend of black pepper, white pepper, onion powder, and garlic powder. Garnish with chopped green onions, and there you have it, a taste of Hokkaido on a plate. Next, let's embark on a culinary adventure to Okayama Prefecture and discover the delights of Hiruzen stir-fried ramen, a local specialty from Hiruzen Plateau in Maniwa City, located in the northern part of the prefecture. This dish is characterized by its use of kashiwa, it means chicken, and plateau cabbage as main ingredients, enveloped in a rich and flavorful miso sauce. I chose this recipe because it's relatively simple to prepare and features a combination of cabbage and chicken that many of you might already be familiar with. Cut the cabbage and chicken into bite-sized pieces. Marinate the chicken with sake and salt beforehand. As I mentioned earlier, the key to this dish lies in the miso sauce. After some research, I've discovered that the traditional method involved combining miso with yakiniku sauce. Yakiniku sauce is typically a soy sauce-based sauce with a hint of sweetness. However, since yakiniku sauce itself may not be readily available outside of Japan, I've created my own version to capture its essence. To make the yakiniku sauce inspired base, combine soy sauce, sake, mirin, rice vinegar, sugar, grated ginger and garlic. Next, add miso paste, Worcestershire sauce, and ground sesame seeds to create the signature Hiruzen stir-fry noodle sauce. While apple juice is often added to yakiniku sauce for extra flavor, I omitted it today due to its unavailability. However, feel free to add a splash if you have it on hand. Heat oil in a fry pan and stir-fry the chicken. Push the chicken to the side of the pan and add the cabbage, cooking them simultaneously. My husband remarked that using chicken instead of the more common pork in Japanese stir-fry noodles was a refreshing change and that the chicken paired beautifully with the cabbage. Season the chicken and cabbage lightly with salt and pepper. Once the chicken is cooked through and the cabbage has softened, turn off the heat momentarily. Add the drained noodles and the prepared sauce. Since the sauce is quite runny, it's best to mix it well with the noodles while the heat is off. This prevents the sauce from evaporating before it has a chance to coat the noodles evenly. Once thoroughly mixed, turn the heat back on and stir-fry until the noodles are dry and coated in the flavorful sauce. This dish offers a unique and delicious fusion of yakiniku sauce and miso, showcasing a whole new dimension to cabbage culinary potential. Garnish with red pickled ginger, and there you have it, a complete masterpiece. Get ready for a delightful culinary adventure with Hita stir-fry ramen, a stir-fry noodle dish renowned for its crispy texture. Hailing from Hita City, Ohita Prefecture, this local favorite has gained popularity among ramen shops in Hita City, and is known for its unique preparation method that sets it apart from traditional stir-fry noodles. The defining characteristic of Hita stir-fry noodles lies in its crispy noodles, achieved by grilling them on an iron plate until some parts are slightly charred. While restaurants have the advantage of dedicated iron plates, I've attempted to recreate this technique at home with some minor mishaps along the way. The accompanying ingredients for this noodle dish are remarkably simple: green onions and bean sprouts. For the meat, pork is the recommended choice. Traditionally, pork loin or pork belly is preferred for its richness, but I'm using up some pork fillet on hand. In a large fry pan, add plenty of oil. I'll strive to achieve the desired crispness for the noodles. Please note that I've already boiled the ramen noodles beforehand. In a separate pan with a drizzle of oil, stir-fry the pork. Season with salt and pepper. Once cooked through, set the pork aside. Stir-fry the bean sprout. Pour a little sesame oil here. The noodles are tempted to crisp up earlier seem to have stuck together a bit, but I'm hoping to loosen them up later. Add the cooked pork and bean sprout to the noodles. At this point, turn out the heat. Prepare the sauce by combining Worcestershire sauce, oyster sauce, soy sauce, and sugar. Following the same method as the previous recipe, mix the sauce thoroughly before turning on the heat. My quest for ultra crispy noodles resulted in some sticking, so I recommend using a Teflon-coated skillet for a better result. However, don't worry, a spatula should do the trick. Despite the slight imperfection, the noodles still exhibit a delightful crispness. Finally, add the green onions and turn on the heat for a quick stir fry. Once the sauce has thickened and the flavors have melded, your Hita stir-fry noodle is ready. Taste and adjust the seasoning with salt and pepper if needed. I'm determined to make a second attempt with even crispier noodles, but this one tasted great. Garnish with a sprinkle of aonori and red pickled ginger for an extra burst of flavor and color. Welcome to the next step on our culinary journey, Yugawara town in Kanagawa Prefecture, where we'll be exploring the delightful Dandan stir-fried ramen. Yugawara is renowned for its soothing hot springs, a tradition deeply rooted in local folklore. Legend has it that a tanuki discovered these healing waters, and in tribute to this fiery benefactor, the Dandan stir-fried noodles were born. The play on words between tanuki and tantanmen adds a charming touch to the dish's origin story. Inspired by the flavor of tantanmen, this stir-fried noodle dish is characterized by its fragrant and slightly spicy aroma, achieved through a blend of key ingredients like sesame paste and doubanjian. For this recipe, we'll also be incorporating the goodness of cabbage. Let's start by finely mincing ginger and garlic. While we are at it, let's prepare the sauce beforehand. In this recipe, we will be using a combination of rice miso and barley miso. This barley miso appeared in a southern rice bowl recipe we served last time. Combining different types of miso adds depth and umami to the flavor. To the miso blend, add sake, soy sauce, sugar, and rice vinegar. Traditionally, we'd use ground sesame paste, but I forgot to buy some, so I'll be using ground sesame seeds as a substitute. Generously add about a tablespoon of the sesame seeds. Mix thoroughly. To a frying pan, add garlic, ginger, and sesame oil. Next, incorporate the Dandan. Gently warm the mixture, and then add ground pork. Allow the pork to absorb the fragrant aromas of garlic and ginger. Once the pork has changed color, add cabbage. Season lightly with salt and pepper. After the cabbage has softened slightly, add bean sprout. Finally, incorporate the drained and cooked noodles. Pour in the prepared sauce and mix thoroughly. Interestingly, these Yugawara's Dandan stir-fry noodles come in two main topping variations, often depending on the restaurant. One version features locally sourced citrus fruits like lemon or Kitami oranges, either as a garnish or as a subtle flavor enhancer. The other variation, inspired by Yugawara's reputation as a hot spring town, features an onsen egg. Other creative interpretations include seasoned boiled egg, or sunny side-up eggs. For today's preparation, we'll be going with the citrus version. Initially, I had planned to add lemon juice to the sauce, but since I was using frozen lemons, they were too icy to squeeze and had turned into a sorbet-like consistency. Therefore, I opted for rice vinegar instead. Taste and adjust the seasoning with salt and pepper if needed. As a finishing touch, I'll garnish the dish with fresh lemon slices. I bit into a little of this lemon and it was the perfect accompaniment to the noodles. Everyone should try squeezing lemon juice over the top. Last but not least is Italian stir-fry ramen. This local delicacy from Niigata Prefecture is primarily served in cafeteria-style chain restaurant and is considered a fast food staple. I must confess, I was completely unaware of its existence until recently, but upon trying it, I was pleasantly surprised by its delightful flavors. While the combination might seem a bit unorthodox, I urge you to keep an open mind and give it a try. I'm confident you'll be pleasantly surprised just like I was. First, let's prepare the meat sauce. Finally, chop the onions, carrots, and garlic. For the tomatoes, you can either use a whole canned tomatoes or, like me, peel and chop fresh tomatoes into smaller pieces. In a fry pan, heat olive oil and fry the onions and carrots until softened. Season lightly with salt and pepper. Once softened, create a space in the pan and add the ground beef. Sprinkle the garlic over the beef and add sake and soy sauce. This step helps to infuse the beef with flavor. Don't forget to add salt and pepper to taste. Fun fact, this intriguing dish, aptly named Italian, was reportedly conceived in 1959 by the owner of the Niigata coffee shop. Inspired by a sauce yakisoba he encountered at a Tokyo restaurant, He combined elements of Italian spaghetti to create this unique culinary fusion. Perhaps he wondered if combining yakisoba and spaghetti would result in a delectable treat. I had never heard of or seen them in Tokyo or in Gunma, where I am from. Add the tomatoes, allowing the juices to release and simmer. Pour in some more sake and incorporate the remaining seasonings, ketchup, Worcestershire sauce, sugar, and consomme. This time I added a touch more sugar, resulting in a slightly sweet flavor that my husband absolutely adored. In fact, this was the meat sauce he raved about the most. Simmer until the sauce thickens and reduces. As a final touch, add the corn and simmer for a few minutes more until cooked through. Maybe it was the corn that made my husband like this meat sauce so much. Once the meat sauce is complete, you are almost done with this dish. Heat oil in a fry pan and stir-fry the cabbage and bean sprouts. Bean sprouts seem to be a staple ingredient in this dish. Add the noodles. Just like before, turn off the heat momentarily before adding the seasonings and mix thoroughly. Since we'll be topping the noodle with meat sauce, we'll keep the seasoning relatively mild. Use Worcestershire sauce, oyster sauce, and sugar to create a light flavor profile. Once thoroughly mixed, turn the heat back on and stir-fry until the noodles are dry and coated in the flavorful sauce. Once well mixed, transfer the noodles to a serving plate and generously ladle over the meat sauce. Garnish with dried parsley for a touch of color and freshness. Try this Italian. Which stir-fry noodles looked best? Some of the dishes were new to me as well, and I enjoyed making them. I hope you all enjoy it as much as I do. Thank you so much for watching our video. Please subscribe to our channel. If you are already a subscriber and would like to support our channel, please join our membership. Membership feedback will be reflected in content creation. See you in the next video.